No one, not even his closest friends or family, thought this would happen. The news came out of nowhere and shocked fans all over the world. It also broke up a family. Malcolm Jamal Warner, who millions of people had grown up watching as Theo Huxtable, was now going through the worst time of his life. At first, the specifics were kept secret. Online, there were only rumors, titles that were hard to understand, and a lot of guessing. But I have to tell you, what was going on behind those closed doors was so much worse than anyone thought. His children and wife didn't say a word, not a single post or word. And the quiet said more than any words could. Online users began to guess. Some believed it was just a story, while others thought it was a private health matter. But now comes the shocking part. Things were not only sad in the real story, it broke my heart. People who knew the family well said that everything changed in an instant. Malcolm's house, which was normally quiet, full of music and laughter, became cold all of a sudden. There was a terrible event that no one wanted to talk about. Now, though, things start to get interesting. There were small signs that something wasn't right. His wife put up a short message on her secret Instagram account just a week before the news came out. She wrote, "Hug your loved ones even tighter. We have no idea when our last goodbye will be." People didn't think much of it at the time, but now, after everything, she thought she knew. It was like fate was whispering a message. Fans couldn't wait for answers. There were a lot of worried, sad, and confused posts on social media, but Malcolm did not say anything. He stopped being interviewed, gave up on all of his projects, and quit answering the phone. People who knew him said he wasn't himself anymore. Sometimes he would talk to himself as he walked back and forth in his garden for hours on end. One friend said something that you won't believe. He was talking to himself while standing by a tree late at night. Why didn't I see it coming? How was this story different? Malcolm had always kept to himself. When things went wrong, other people went to the press, but he never let cameras into his life. But people could feel his pain even when he wasn't talking. His voice was gone from podcasts and his music was quiet. His face was missing from red carpets. He loved the bass guitar so much, but he hadn't played it in days. His friends tried to get in touch with him, but he wouldn't talk. He refused to eat or sleep. Afterwards, the most painful part came next. He finally broke down on a late-night call with one of his best friends who told him about it. His voice was very soft. He only said, "I failed them. Their most important need wasn't met by me." Everyone who heard it felt terrible because no parent wants to think they let their child down. He felt guilty all the time. The craziest thing was that Malcolm's kids, especially his daughter, were the ones who kept him up while he was in pain. It was only her teen years, but she was very strong for her age. You could find them on his bathroom mirror, under his guitar, and inside his shoes. The cards said things like, "I love you, Dad, and everything will be okay." Each simple message slowly brought him back, one word at a time. Something strong was building up inside that house, but no one outside knew what was going on. No longer was the quiet just about pain. It wasn't about that. The family was getting ready for something. A message that would soon go viral on the internet and make even the biggest fans cry. When the Warner family finally spoke out one morning, everything changed. The world woke up to a single post after days of silence and whispers. On the official Instagram account of Malcolm Jamal Warner, no pictures or fancy changes were made. It was just a black background with white words. And at the top, 3 words that make time stop. "We are broken." It was real, it was raw, and it broke my heart. Malcolm said at the beginning of the message that this was the hardest thing he had ever written, more difficult than any playing part. It was harder than anything else he had ever dealt with. Because this wasn't a show, it was real pain and loss. He told the fans thank you for the thoughts, candles and flowers. Then he said something that really hit everyone. He wrote, "He wasn't just my son, he was my pride, my mirror and my hope. It's hard to believe I'll never hear him laugh again." Now that the truth was out, those words cut through everything. It wasn't a distant cousin, it wasn't a story. Malcolm had lost his son who was his child. His words about him made me feel like I was reading a sad love letter. People were scared to death when they heard his voice in the words. But this is where it got really strong. Malcolm did more than just feel sorry for him. He also talked about the chaos on the internet. He told them in a gentle way to stop telling lies. There were no accidents, drama, or secrets. There was only sadness. He told them to stop spreading lies. We're already buried in sadness. Let's be sad without fighting. People stopped to think about that line. It made everyone remember that behind the name and fame was a father who had just lost his son and was trying to get through it. But the part of the message that made me cry was at the very end. Malcolm's late mother said, "We may break, but we will not disappear." This was the last line that Malcolm's family wrote together. That phrase quickly went around the world. It was being shared again and again, turned into art, and put in people's bios. Some people got it tattooed because those words showed both pain and power. It became a sign of strength for everyone who had ever lost someone. After that, something unexpected took place. Stars, friends, and even strangers from all over the world came together to show their sadness. Viola Davis posted a prayer, Oprah paid tribute, and Denzel Washington, Tyler Perry, and even Malcolm's old co-stars on The Cosby Show wrote sad messages. Nobody else's suffering was left out. It had turned into a shared sadness. But a few hours later, the most memorable thing happened. A short movie clip showed up online. Not a real post, just a short video from a family friend. There were lights all around Malcolm as he stood in front of a picture of his son. He didn't say anything. He stood there with his hand over his heart, still silent and broken. And even though he didn't say a word, his pain filled the screen. That one moment made people all over the world cry. The story then went in a different direction because the Warner family wasn't done yet. Not only were they sad behind closed doors, something bigger was being planned. A tribute, a goodbye, but not just any goodbye. The next thing that happened was one of the most moving public events in recent memory. It turned out so well you won't believe it. The world stopped moving again on a warm Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles. The Warner family said there would be a public funeral for their son Malcolm Jamal Warner, and the place where it was held said it all. The Hollywood Forever Cemetery is a place where celebrities rest and memories will last forever. It wasn't about fame or attention though. It was about ending things. How to remember a life that ended way too soon. Now let me tell you something that day that Hollywood had never seen before. People had already lined the streets for hours before the gates opened. A lot of people came with flowers, candles, or just to stand there quietly and hold on to pictures, signs, or memories. Gone too soon was written on one sign. Your rules taught us how to love. Or ever.